Be alive, but it doesn't mean I've died, and I owe you all my life.
Today, I'm excited to welcome Daniel Maple to Totally Music to chat about his musical career. Daniel, welcome to Totally Music. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, Tracy. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. So I'm Daniel Maple. I'm 18, and I'm a musician from the northeast of England. I think my music's very inspired by sort of singer-songwriter music and a lot like the 60s blues thrown into it. And yeah, I'm just creating music. My aim's really just to inspire people, and yeah.
It's great to have you on. What got you into music?
Well, there's a couple of things. I remember a lot of 70s new wave music being played around the house when I was younger because my dad's he's mad on the keyboards. So there's like bands like Kraftwerk and Human League that I was being introduced to at a very young age, and I think that's sort of where I got an inspiration for psychedelic music, which has sort of weaved its way into my music, maybe from a bit of a distance. And then I learnt the trumpet when I was in primary school, and so my sister played tenor horn, so I was sort of like next in line to go into this brass band. And yeah, I was in my local brass band, and I just really enjoyed it. And I think that might be where sort of I got the inspiration to want to be in a band, and I really just enjoyed being in a room with people and making music.
Nice. So, what inspires the music you create?
Well, I think it's safe to say Bob Dylan has been he's steered the direction of music that I create. And I think it's always important to recognize just how much he changed music. And I think everyone's influenced by Dylan to a certain degree, even if it's from another artist. But also 70s singer-songwriters, so like Nick Drake and John Martin, Van Morrison. I think I've adopted their vocal style and the way they play guitar, and that's especially on the EP. You can hear little bits of each of them people I've just mentioned in there. And then we were just talking about it there. So my mate India and has been a huge influence on me. I think she has one of the best voices in the Northeast, personally. And what I like about India is how she's sort of playing pop music, but in a foreign way, in bringing like ethereal sounds and different vibes into the music. And I think I've always drawn influence from that, because I've always tried to make music that everyone can enjoy, but trying to add something that maybe's not in all music today. So yeah, that was a little brief thing of my influences.
So, you've recently released your EP, Four Walls. Would you like to tell us about it?
Yeah, so it's a 7-track EP, and it's all songs I wrote from when I was 16 and 17. And I'd say the theme that connects them all is adolescence. All the songs are talking about growth in one way or another. And it's really strange because in from the time I wrote them songs, which was probably about 2 years ago now,
Yeah.
it's strange because I wrote so many songs after that and none of them have been used. I've kind of used half the EP as all songs I wrote in the space of 1 week, which is really it's odd. But I just thought it was the best decision, and they were the songs that I was playing live at gigs, so it seemed reasonable to put them out so people have some, connection with the songs when I play them live.
Yeah.
But it was kind of tricky picking the songs I was going to put on it because I was baffled at what to do because I've got 2,000 songs that I've wrote.
Wow.
Uh, but it's quite hard trying to pick 7 of them and trying to also like make a connection between them all.
Yeah.
How do they all link together? So I just simply decided to put out the songs that I was playing live.
Yeah. So, what's your favourite song from the EP and why?
That's a very difficult question. Thing is, I think before the EP came out, it would have been either I Love You When I Hear Goodbyes or Lewis. But strangely seeing the reception that the other songs have had, I've kind of started moving towards the other songs. So a lot of people like Easy Rider, because I think it's sort of it's the one that stands out in the EP as being more upbeat and perhaps sort of a reflection of what I used to sound like. I used to be very blues driven and, you know, 3 chords and stick to that.
Yeah.
So, but then there was the other half of people saying, oh, well, Waiting in the Catapult's my favourite. So who knows? Okay, it might just be Crying in a Different Key. It might be something else. So,
So, what's your favourite set of lyrics from one of the songs?
there's so many words on the EP, and it took me. I had to probably do like a deep dive of all my lyrics. But I've picked a set of words from War and Freedom, where it says, "I can see I'm now solitary in the depths of my own mind. I'm wandering free. It may be difficult to believe that all you have to do is stop speaking and see." And I just I like the flow of them words, and
Yeah.
War and Freedom as a whole is about sort of what I was going through at the time and seeing what was happening around the world. And it's very much a song of hope and hope for growth as well, you know, linking back to the growth. I think there's just some beauty in it that I knew other people could connect with.
Yeah. So, what was the most difficult song to write on the EP?
I'd probably say War and Freedom, because it's the longest song on the EP. It stands at nearly 6 minutes. And when I recorded it in the studio, and I had sort of second thoughts, thinking, well, should I just scrap it or make it shorter? But I think it delivers as a song that has to be 5 minutes and tell a story. And I put it at the end because I'm a huge fan of albums like The Doors and The Stooges, which end with these really long tracks. You know, it's songs of 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and then ends with an 11-minute, you know, song. So it was sort of like a bit of a homage to them people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was difficult to write, because I remember usually when I write a song, it's like, okay, maybe 20 minutes of writing a song, and I just write it all in one, and that's it, it's done. But for some reason, I seem to just write a verse. Now I'll go downstairs, have a coffee, come back up, write the next verse. And then maybe in a week, I'd wrote the 3rd verse and gone, I don't want that verse, I want this one. So I think it was difficult in that sense of being like, well, which one is the right one for the song? So yeah.
Cool. So, is there anything that you've learned from the creation of the EP that will help you in the future? And if so, what is it?
I worked with Lyndon Philliskirk as the producer for the tracks, and I think that was really useful. And I'll definitely use Lyndon again for some other projects down the line. Also, the promotion of it, I think I've never properly promoted something I've brought out.
Yeah.
And especially, I do all of this myself. You can get sort of second thoughts about what's right and what other people do and what you should be doing. I think everyone feels that way, and I think it was just the promotion's been really genuine and there's no fakeness behind it. And I think that's definitely something I want to bring forward in next releases. Because I mean, you'll know at the end of the day, you just have to be yourself, and that's you. You can't really put on a front. And yeah, I think that I've definitely learned a lot from doing the promotion of the EP.
So, what memories will you take away from the creation of the EP?
I'll take away the time in the studio I spent with Lyndon, because here's where it gets strange. So I wrote them songs in maybe 2 years ago, and I had all them songs, but then I went into the studio and we did all the demos in one day. We did 2 sessions and had the whole EP done. And it was kind of like a nice blend of how long it had taken to get them songs out and how quickly it was recorded in such like an enjoyable manner. You know, me and Lyndon were always laughing. It wasn't like do this, you know, we're laughing along the way. And it was sort of like me and Lyndon are very quick people and know, you know, we know what we want and we just get it done and we'll have a laugh as well. So I'll definitely take away that. And just I think the whole process and going out, taking photos. My girlfriend Brooke does my photos, and I think we've both really enjoyed getting an image for the EP and trying to match it with what I was singing. So that's what I'll take away from it.
So finally, what's next for you?
I've got quite a lot going on. I've got some solo gigs coming up over the next couple of months, and I'm going to be planning more where I'll be playing songs off the EP. And I also do stuff with a band called Pretty Velvet, so we've got some gigs coming up. Pretty Velvet is kind of the total other spectrum of my music. It's very rock based and heavy and in your face. You know, I jump around on the floor and I'm all on electric guitar, so it kind of opposes what I'm doing with this.
Yeah.
And just bits and bobs with bands and stepping in for stuff. I've already started working on the next batch of music that I'll be bringing out. Not too sure on how it's going to happen, but yeah, I've got a lot going on. So you can just find me on social media. I'll be promoting it on there on my Instagram mainly, and that's how you'll find out what I'm doing.
Nice. Well, looking forward to seeing what's coming for you.
Oh, thanks very much.
So a massive thank you to Daniel for joining me on Totally Music. If anyone would like to check out his music, I'll leave all the links in the description below for you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Tracy.
Baby, I'm allowed to shout that I survived. Maybe I am proud to